My name is Daniel Sharp. I'm 16 years old, and this is my 8th year in the Dakota Sharpshooters 4-H Club. Today I'm going to be giving a talk on the bridge to understanding how to build a popsicle stick bridge. Starting off, I'm just going to be explaining the complexity and overall awesomeness of real bridges, such as the London Tower Bridge. It was built in 1894 and has survived up to this day. The reason for its building was to cross the Thames, which is a river in London. Before then, they just had the London Bridge, and as London grew out, expanded, they needed another bridge. So bridges have many uses. State fair regulations for the 4-H bridge are that it must span 50 centimeters, a gap of that length, be more than 10 centimeters wide and 20 centimeters tall. It must have clearance of 3 centimeters on either side of the gap. And the bridge deck must be less than 5 centimeters above the lowest point. So it can't be two giant towers and then your bridge is all the way up here. It also states that that less than 100 popsicle sticks shall be used. And at your local craft store, that is the medium-sized stick, to be glued together with all-purpose non-toxic glues. And that crazy and industrial strength glues are not allowed. Bridge deck must be covered with construction paper, so that a Matchbox or Hot Wheels car would be able to roll across the bridge deck. And this is my bridge. It is actually a square truss bridge, which has 4 parallel beams in a box formation with perpendicular supports connecting the 4 beams. I think I have a picture that I can explain later on. The steps that I took to build my bridge was that I conducted the research on various bridges. I drew a design of what I thought my bridge would look like. I gathered the necessary supplies, and then finally I built my bridge. First step, to conduct research. What I looked up popsicle stick bridge, and most of them that came up were from competitions that held the most weight were the winners. So I looked at all those because I knew they were strong, because if they went to those competitions, they would be able to support all that weight. So I took some of their ideas and melded them with my own to create the bridge that I made. My bridge was original, but it did have concepts of other people's bridges. And always, always, always be sure to follow your state fair regulations on the size, number, and the specs for a popsicle stick bridge. So this one would be a very poor example of what a 4-H bridge would be. Next would be to draw a design. This is a picture that I found online, but it is very similar to what my bridge is, with the 4 parallel beams. But instead of the triangles, I didn't have enough popsicle sticks to make those, so I had them perpendicular across the bottom, sides, and top. But to draw the design, you would draw what you think your finished design will look like. And be sure to include the length, width, height, so you make sure that they fit inside the state fair regulations, and so that you can easily follow your handmade blueprints. Third, gathering supplies is a necessity for building a bridge. You will need the popsicle sticks, the specs that are given there, and as I explained earlier. Elmer's wood glue is what I use, and I would recommend that to anyone who is building a bridge. Using wax paper would be a very wise choice, especially if you do not want glue all over the surface you are working with. And clamps. The State Fair book says that you may not have clamps on your finished bridge, but if you use the clamps during the building process, they will make an airtight seal of the glue and ensure that that bond is strong. Airtight glue seals are stronger than ones that look like cake. And finally, start building your bridge. I made the long parallel pylons by using a double ply method, which I will show you in a later slide. Then I connected those beams with the perpendicular popsicle sticks. And I also made my own roadway because I didn't read State Fair book close enough to realize that it needs to be construction paper, not your own roadway. I did not use triangles, but you may ask, why wouldn't you use triangles? It's because triangles are the strongest geometric shape. As you can see here, all those shapes, when pressure is applied, they collapse, except for the triangle. Because their fixed angles do not twist or break as easily under the same amount of pressure as, say, a square would break under. Triangles have been used over the past year, throughout time to make bridges stronger, such as in the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see by the suspension cables they form triangles, which makes the bridge stronger. To build the supports of using the double ply, you make 2 layers of popsicle sticks and then glue them together with the clamps to form a long rod. Such as in this example, with 1 layer being here, another here, and this is a picture of what my 2-ply pylon looked like in the design process. And I didn't need to do this, but I did build my own road. I cut the corners of the ends of the popsicle sticks to make them a sharp point, so that they would interlock with others. And I measured the width of a standard Hot Wheels car, and 4 to 5 sticks was the necessary width for the car to fit on it. And my road is not on here either. My interlocking road. Okay. So in conclusion, to make the best popsicle stick bridge, you need to conduct your research, being sure to read the State Fair book regulations in detail, to draw a design of what you think your bridge will look like, to gather the necessary supplies that you'll need for that, and finally, to build your bridge. And once you have done all these things, you will find the bridge to understand it. Are there any questions?
I know this might be just a very small part, but you said to use wax paper. Why wax paper?
Because the glue will not stick to the wax paper. Glue will stick to anything, but it will peel off easier than, say, as onto a wood surface.
How long did it take you to make your bridge?
I was procrastinating through the entire process, so it took me about a month.
Fair enough.
And what did you learn from that experience?
Don't procrastinate.
What else did you learn with this project?
To read the State Fair book before you start the project.
Is it here on exhibit?
I got a blue at County Fair. Because the perpendicular supports would not hold up. They needed to form triangles.
So that's something else you learned. Okay, thank you.
Now, thank you for your time.